Some days are better than others, and today is an extremely special one.
Oh yes it is. Anas and I are among the first people in the Middle East to drive the new R8 before its regional launch later this month.
And to celebrate, we're gonna do things a little bit differently this time. We're gonna share our initial thoughts about the new R8 as we go along. It's like sharing our first drive of the car on camera with you.
And since it's a supercar and you're probably waiting to know what it feels like to drive, we decided to start with that bit first. But before we do, would you just listen to that exhaust?
Yeah! Wow! So the Audi R8 has got a minor facelift, and the exact car we have with us today is the Audi
R8
Coupe
V10
5.2 liter
rear-wheel drive
S-tronic.
Yes, it's a very long name, but essentially what you need to know is that it is the most affordable version of the R8 currently on sale.
Enough talking, let's see what this thing can do.
Wow, that 5.2 litre naturally aspirated V10 is a screamer and revs all the way till 8,700 RPM.
It takes you to 100 kilometers per hour in just 3.7 seconds and to a top speed of 324.
As for power figures, because this is the rear-wheel drive version, it has been limited to just 540 horsepower and 540 Newton meters of torque.
Keeping numbers aside, how many other cars will you drive where the engine is sitting 5 inches away from your ears? And not just any engine. It's a naturally aspirated V10, meaning no turbos, no superchargers, it's just raw power.
And because there aren't any turbos or superchargers, you have to really rev it to get the power out of it. And what an amazing feeling that is, being pinned to the back of your seat and catapulted forward.
And to add to the excitement of driving the Audi R8, this engine is paired to a 7-speed dual-clutch S-tronic transmission. And it is super quick.
And like a proper supercar, there's also paddle shifters behind the steering wheel.
Let me demonstrate how quick it is. So we're on 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 3 again, 4. It's amazing. It's amazing. As for what's new for the 2020 model, we get some changes on the chassis for better stability and the retuned steering.
Not just that, there's also some changes to the styling. So why don't you pull over and let's check those out?
Yeah, sure. So let's start with the stuff I really love about this facelift. For me, the front now looks a lot more aggressive.
Oh, it sure does. The car just looks so much more muscular and more aggressive. And that's partly because of the staggered tire setup, meaning it's got different tire sizes in the front and back. It's got tires that are 9.6 inches wide in the front and 11.6 inches wide in the back.
Wow, what a difference. And I also love the back because of the extendable spoiler, the sporty diffuser, and those enormous exhausts.
And it will surely turn heads in this gorgeous Vegas yellow color. But there is something that has been bugging on us since he saw the car this morning. So I'm gonna let him explain.
Actually, it's a couple of things. Let me begin. So one of my favorite things about the first generation R8 is the unique shape and color of the side blade, which is this part right here. For some weird reason, Audi decided they're gonna split this part up into 2 pieces. And to make things worse, on the rear-wheel drive version we got with us today, the bottom part is in body color.
So what you're trying to say is that now everyone will know just by looking at you that you're a little bit of a cheapskate and that you've gone for the most affordable version of the R8.
You can put it in that way. But to add to that, this new facelifted R8 has another issue. The amount of fake vents you can find all over the car. Count with me. Fake, fake, fake. Fake, fake, fake. This part in the back is fake as well.
Let's put it this way. We would not have an issue with so many fake vents on something like an Audi TT RS. But on an R8? Come on, Audi, keep it real. All right, hand over the keys. Time for me to drive.
All right, let's go. You know what, Zaran? Strangely enough, inside the R8, you don't feel you're in a supercar. And to be clear, that's not a bad thing.
It is very minimal and it does remind me of being in the TT RS.
Yes, and that means everything is so simple and easy to use. Just like in the TT RS, there's no infotainment screen and you control everything from the instrument cluster screen, which Audi of course calls the virtual cockpit. And by the way, it is still one of my favorite instrument cluster screens by far.
Oh yeah, I fully agree with you. And I'm really happy that Audi didn't go for the dual screen layout that we've seen in some newer models. I still feel having physical buttons and knobs makes it a lot easier to control while driving.
Especially in this type of car with so much engagement while driving. You know what else I really wish the R8 borrowed also from the TT RS?
What?
Those 3 rounded AC vents with the AC controls embedded right into them. They would have taken this whole minimalistic approach much further.
True. There's no doubt that even in its most affordable version, the Audi R8 is still a very exciting supercar, but it isn't perfect.
Yeah, there are a few things that we wish Audi had done differently. Let me start with a simple thing, like taking those marvelous magnesium pedal shifters from the Hurricane and using them instead of these little plastic pieces they call pedals behind the steering wheel.
Being the brand's flagship supercar, I also expected electric seats and an electrically adjustable steering rack to be standard, but it isn't. I guess they're saving that for a more expensive version.
Do you know what else Audi kept for more expensive versions?
What?
Adaptive dampers, meaning that you cannot control the stiffness of the suspension. Yes, there are different drive modes, but the stiffness of the suspension is always the same.
Finally, I'm not sure if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but it's nearly impossible to get the rear end of this car to slide out, which is something we were weirdly looking forward to when we found out that we'd be driving a rear-wheel drive supercar with 540 horsepower.
Because you see, people who buy these rear-wheel drive supercars buy them to add to the excitement of driving the car. And although the R8 has super wide tires in the back and has a mechanical limited slip differential, the traction control constantly keeps cutting power to prevent any wheel spin. It is super intrusive.
So, does the R8 have what it takes to be called a supercar?
Yes, it does. It's loud, it's fast, and it does turn a lot of heads.
But it's not as impractical as other supercars out there. It's very sophisticated and dignified and easy to live with. It's in fact part of a very small subset of supercars that you can use every single day.
To add to that, it's one of the last surviving mid-engine supercars with a big, naturally aspirated engine.
We can only imagine how much more thrilling the more powerful and more expensive versions of the new R8 will be.
Having said that, we want to thank you, Audi Middle East, for this exclusive opportunity. And we want to thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoyed this video as much as we enjoyed filming it for you. See you soon, and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.